What's up, and welcome back to Cleats to Whistle podcast. I am Brad Valdez, and we are back here at Shelby County, man. Very excited about this, man. I appreciate you, Coach, for having me out. And, man, let's just get into it, man. Just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Man, first and foremost, man, all praises to the Most High. Thank you for coming. We count it a privilege and an honor for us to be spotted and broadcasted here tonight. So we thank you for that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I was kind of nervous, trying to reach out to other guys, I actually reached out to Coach Montgomery, and I was like, man, I don't know, man. This guy,
Nah, man, he's absolutely a great guy, man. We got a lot of guys on our staff. And before we jump in, I pay homage and respect to these guys because they are the ones who make this thing go. I'm the visionary, but they help support the vision. So
yeah,
I want to shout them out.
Yeah, man, that's what's up, man. Okay, and we all have a past, right?
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and shout out some of your mentors, man.
Man, one of my greatest mentors is first and foremost my father, who has the privilege and honor of sharing the sideline with me this year. He's actually our defensive line coach, and then God has really placed some great guys in my life. One of my other mentors is Tommy Ackland. He helps me on a day-to-day basis, pretty much like a second father to me. So I got two good people in my life. I'm surrounded around a lot of great people day in and day out, but I have to pay respect to those guys.
Love it, man. Love it. So shout out to you guys. Great, making him a great man that he is today, man. Did you grow up in Kentucky?
No, man. So I'm originally from Miami, Florida, and I got here by way of Kentucky State University. So I came down here on a football scholarship, and the rest is kind of history, man. So, God had a plan for me, and I never thought that I'd be here after I graduated high school, man.
Man,
graduated college.
Man, coming from Miami, you probably just got acclimated for the Kentucky weather,
Nah, man.
Okay. Did you have a number that you played with, and did it have like a special meaning to you?
Yeah. So, man, we from Miami, man. Football is like the greatest thing outside of Jesus himself and Christmas, man. So we're rooted and grounded in playing football down there. So I grew up wearing 51. I wore that all throughout high school. I wore that through college. So that's kind of the number that's special and near and dear to me.
Okay. And what's your favorite memory playing football?
Man, I started playing football at 5, so I got a lot of great memories. I'll say my favorite memory is probably more coaching than playing, but if I had to give one as a player, man, my junior season in high school, we exceeded expectations. We went to the state semifinals, or the state quarter semifinals, and they didn't pick us to win over a game that year. We locked in, a lot of hard work, and we made it that far. So shout out to Dr. Michael M. Crop Senior High School, man.
Okay, shout out, man. Oh, okay, and you know what I mean. You went to college to play ball.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean. Did you have any aspirations to play in the NFL or anything?
No, no, man. I got to a place to where coming out of high school, I wanted football to do what it did for me, create relationships, and help me get my education. So God allowed that to see fit. I went to an HBCU, which was something that I wanted to accomplish. And there's no culture like a HBCU culture, so I was there. Shout out to Kentucky State University. It afforded me the opportunity to do two things. I obtained my degree, and I also pledged. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So I was able to do some great things. I had no expectation of going to the NFL. Once I hung my cleats up, it was kind of that's it, man.
Yep. Then you got the A, but then you put that whistle on, man.
Yes, sir.
and when did you know you wanted to get into coaching?
The fourth quarter of my senior year in college, we was at Morehouse, and after the clock hit 0-0, I'll tell you, I started coaching to kind of bridge the gap between what was next. Not a lot of athletes who go to college, a lot of people have NFL dreams. Unfortunately for me, that wasn't my dream, but it was how do I stay connected to the game, So my last game is kind of like, okay, what's next for me? And then I was working in corporate America, and I said, man, hey, let's try this coaching thing out. So I started actually coaching in Frankfurt. I did that for a year, and then I moved to Shelbyville. And, some of the guys who you talk to tonight, they're special guys, man, because I started off coaching them when they were 10 years old. So that's just kind of the coaching background. I started with youth league, worked up to middle school, and now I'm coaching at the high school level.
Nice. All right. Is there any hobbies outside of football?
Uh, Man, when I'm not working, I love to eat. I love to eat, man, but also just spend time with my loved ones, spend time with my friends, spend time with my family. A fun fact, a hobby, I love shoes. So that's something that we do in our spare time, whatever the case may be, and we like to travel.
There you go. There you go. And I like I was telling the kids, what I mean, you guys had what, 3 losses, man, that's less than a touchdown.
Yes,
Or
sir.
a touchdown or less, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
How do you deal with the stress? You know what I mean? Like every coach gonna put stress on themselves, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But how do you deal with that?
Well, here's the thing, man. This is my second year in the program, and I will go on record and say God has been great to our program. The things that we've been able to accomplish in 2 short seasons sometimes takes people 10 or 15 years to accomplish. We knew coming into this thing that we set expectations high, we set standards, we have core principles that we abide by and that we hang our hats on.
Yeah.
And we know that the winning will come, so our nucleus of kids are sophomores,
Yeah.
and we have a really good group of sophomores. We have a stud at running back who's a junior. And when you look out on the field and you see, okay, these guys are still very young and still growing, that's where the 1-point losses come. That's when, the 6-point losses come. That's when the 7-point losses come. But we know in the locker room what we are building is something special.
Yeah, because you can hear them. You know what I mean? They're not like down on each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I heard you talking about Isaac Estrada, who's a 26. But quiet as it's kept, he is one of the hearts and souls of this team. He came in and actually was leading this program as an 8th grader. So he couldn't play football here, but after his 8th grade season, he came in, started lifting weights, and really adapted and identify with the culture that we're trying to build. So you have guys like him, and then our quarterback who stepped in after 6 weeks and took over the reins. And he's doing well as a sophomore. So you look at those type of things. I can go on and on about the type of kids we have. We don't have that much time, but defensive linemen, DBs and stuff, they're still so young, and they're hungry and thirsty to learn about the culture and what we're building here.
Yep. Okay, and yeah, like you said, you know what I mean, the Estrada kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Is he a leader of this team? Do you see that, or what? Name a couple more.
So yeah, he's a leader, man. I talk in conversation, and he is a general on the field. I'll tell people and say this, man. As the head coach, I am an offensive coordinator as well, but our defensive coordinator trusts him so much with the defense to where there are certain times in the game to where our defensive coordinator is not yelling the plays, he's yelling make the defense right. So anytime you got that type of leadership and that type of trust in a sophomore,
Exactly.
The future is bright. But we have other leaders in the locker room. Javon Hunter, who's our quarterback. He'll be the quarterback here for the next 2 years. Then we have Gianni Hunter, who will be a senior next year. We have Donez Marshall, who will be a junior on the defensive line. We have Braylon Taylor, who will also be a senior next year. We have the really cool thing about what we have coming back is we have 4 starters on offensive line and defensive line coming back.
Wow.
We have our entire secondary coming back. So, like I said, man, 3 losses that were the difference in us right now being 7-2. But when you look at what's coming back, those are things that we can fix.
Yep.
And then we have a really, really good group of 8th graders coming up. So we have an investment program that I think will pay off dividends for us.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff, man. I love it, man. Because you know what I mean. Like you say, the morale could have been, you know what I mean, coming out here. They could have been down, you know what I mean? But you hear them talking crap to each other.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Building that brotherhood.
Absolutely, man. We just believe culture wins. I'm a very big culture guy. So like I told you, we know that the wins are going to come. For as long as we've been coaching, we've been blessed to play in big-time games. Me and my staff, we have that continuity. We've been coaching together pretty much since we started coaching. So you add a few pieces in, here and there, but there's not a high turnover rate on our staff. So our kids are able to interpret and take on the DNA of our personality.
Love it, man. Love it. And that's what I'm going to say. Talk about your staff a little bit. So you're the offensive coordinator. You got, just how you guys bond as a staff, man. Like you said, you guys been together for a long time then.
So what we do is we do a lot of cross coaching. So there's a lot of continuity in what we do as a program and as a staff. It helps that we love each other. So the word that you'll hear if you stepped in our program on a day-to-day basis is love. That's one thing that we set our hopes on. That's one thing we set our culture on is love. So when it comes to the X's and O's, that is easy because we trust one another. And there's no egos on our staff. Me calling the plays on Friday night, you'll see my assistant offensive coordinator, James Miller. He's been with me for 6 years. His input is valued. My receiver coach, his input is valued. My defensive coordinator, we call him the man, the myth, the legend. He wouldn't get on the camera tonight, but he's one of the ones to where he is a student of the game. He's constantly learning. He's constantly growing, and so it's one of those things to where it is very unorthodox that you have two teams in one. And when I say that, we have two platoons to where he can take the defensive platoon, and we know that on Friday night, him and Coach Montgomery, who coaches the DBs, Kendra Clay, who helps him with the linebackers, they're going to be ready to play. And when you can build that continuity in the staff to where we get on the field, we can look at each other and say, okay, this is what they're doing. It's one of those things to where we're blessed here in Shelby County. We're blessed.
I love it, man. I appreciate you for coming on, man. I got one more question for you, though.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Okay, now you have, traditions that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Did you bring any traditions?
Hey, man, if you talk to anybody about me, it's one thing we going to do. We going to come with some catchphrases. We going to come with some tradition. We going to come with some things culturally that kind of sets us apart. So, you can see on my shirt it says Chasing 1987. We adopted that motto this year. That was the first time and the only time that they won a state championship. But one of the things that we have incorporated, and it'll probably be here for as long as we're here, and we don't plan on going nowhere, is love one another. And then everybody regurgitates back to us and say, for the hood. So the meaning in for the hood is brotherhood. And the root of brotherhood is hood, and we say it's protection. So, being your brother's keeper, loving on each other is things that we do in this program.
Yeah, because I was just listening to your huddle, man, and it was awesome. I was like,
sir.
yes, that fires me up, man.
Yes, sir, man.
But, man, I appreciate you, Coach, for coming on and just sharing your story a little bit, man.
Man, I appreciate you having me.
Listen, and this is just an opening, man, because I want to come back. You know what I mean? I always want to just, make sure I show love to you guys, man.
Man, absolutely. One thing we say in Rocket football, first time is the invite, second time just pull up your family.
There we go. I love it, man. Everyone has a story.
Yes, sir.
I'm here for them to tell it. Cleats to Whistle podcast.
Good stuff, Coach.